Okay, we're going to work with audio now, and I'll try and make this as quick as I can. Before we look at our audio, which we'll go ahead and do that in our audio event, which is got our container for our audio. Let's look down here. In iMovie, the audio lanes are always going to be underneath the video. Now also we have audio attached to our video, as we've seen the blue here, and we've looked at that before, and that's going to certainly play. So if we play that,
my name's Alexa,
we'll get that. But we also can put some strips under here, which is what we're going to do with these audios. But we have one more special lane, and you can see with this little music icon, that is a special lane. I call it a special lane because it's not going to be attached to these clips like I'm about to show you right now. Now these clips act just like the others we have looked at. We can click and drag, we can do the E and so on, or we can take this little portion and drag it down there. We can even do the E, but instead of, let's see what the length of this goes, 16 seconds. So let's do an E right here and see what happens. Yeah, it didn't go to the end, but it did go to the beginning of the very first audio lane, which is that special lane that I just described. Now, this is completely separate from our video, which is not going to be the case as if we dragged it down. So let's go ahead and get another piece, and I'm just going to make a little tiny bit, 3 seconds, and I'm going to drag that down. And putting it under there actually attaches it, if you can see that spike, to a clip. And now it's going to be, if you drag this down, it'll be attached to this one. So what does that mean? Well, if I pick this up, you see it's attached, and this did not move. So it's very important to keep in mind. As you start adding audio, things are going to shift around towards the end, so you have to be cognizant of these little changes that can throw things out of whack. And the other thing that I'll mention about these two audios, let's go ahead and select these. I'm going to move these to the end and just kind of drag them down here. It's not the most graceful way, but here we go. I'm going to put these right at the end, and you can see we've got our dynamic guide there that tells us that it's the end, by the way. You see that? And this also is telling us the edit point up at the front. But watch what happens. Now these two clips, this one has actually come out of the lane, so let's take this and put it back. Let's see, there we go. Put that back in its special lane. You can tell because there's no spike like this one. Now, watch what happens when I move this one beyond the end. Right, so it's not going to extend beyond that, whereas this one will. Now this one did too, because now it says, oh, there's some audio there, so it's really not the end. So it's good to keep in mind. So let's put this back up here. Let's just get rid of this so it won't be so cluttered to look at. By the way, you can copy and paste these. I don't think I've mentioned that before. This is the traditional. So I've highlighted it. Now I'm going to do Command X. So I'm going to go down here, and wherever that play at, I'm going to do Command V and that paste. So that works for all of these, by the way. So very cool, right? Very cool. So if we play this underneath, it's going to, just like you, let's go ahead and play this. Music always comes in loud, and you always have to adjust it. You can adjust it globally. You see this line? I'm just going to drag it up. Now it says 100%. That just means that's the level it came in, 100% of the level it came in. So I go up, and you see how everything turned orange. That means it's really loud, or down, which is pretty much the case. But that's a global fix, so that may not be what we want. For instance, if where they're yelling right there, we want that to be a little lower. So let's put this back up to where like 79%. But right there, we want it to we want it to what's called duck down. So we're going to look at this. There's two ways we can do this. See where the cursor turns into a yellow box? I'm going to click there and let's get out of there. I'm going to click, oops, and drag a little bit, and there we go. So we have some. It's a range within our audio, right? So I can drag that. But watch this. If I drag the little bar in there, it does it just wherever that bar is in there. So I'm going to click out of there, and now look what it's done. It's putting these little points, which is what we're going to do next, and that fades it down. So if we play through there, okay, very cool. So I'm going to do Command Z so we can undo all that. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way, way number 2. We're going to put those points in by hand. I'm holding the Option key down and clicking. When I hold the Option key down, see the little plus sign? There we go. Everywhere I click makes a keyframe. You have to make at least 4. And why? Because so it'll do that. So play through again. Same thing. Okay, and that's you can do that all down this line. To fade the edges, they've got nice little handles here, and if you just draw those in like so, it fades it in. So let's do it. Let's play through that. And it faded right out. So there we go. That's how you manipulate the audio, and we know how to import it. But there's one more important thing I want before we leave audio, and that is there's a whole lot of music and things built right into every copy of iMovie. So you can search for that. And here they are up here, audio, right? So let's do the audio, and it's in sound effects, even though it's not in your iTunes. Why would it not be in your iTunes? I happen to have stuff because it's my personal. Because there's nothing in the iTunes library in the lab computer. Just ignore GarageBand, by the way. So these things are all built in, and you do the drop down, you've got all of these, just all kinds of music. Here's some theme music, for instance. So we'll play this through. How about Bright? Yeah, Neon. I don't know. Playful is nice. So it's the same thing. These are clips that are already there, and we're going to drag that down. And you might ask, okay, what about my library? Is that going to be in my library? And the answer is yes. It just copied it in there. Whoa, let's get rid of this one so we can hear this one that we just got from iTunes, and it behaves exactly like.
My name's Alexis Brown, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, let's take a look here now. Let's go back to My Media, right? Now, where is this? What happened to it? We put it in our project, but where is it? I don't see it in there. And by the way, you can check that by just kind of double clicking it here and go to the I. And there's how because the audio kind of looks alike down here, same thing. So watch that change to Soda Pops. Now change it. There you go. And that works for all the clips too, by the way. Okay, how do we find out where it was? Do you remember? Right. So we highlight it. And we go to File, Reveal, and Project Media. And look, there it was. It is actually right here in our Worldview library. And there it is. So let's just say, well, I want to, let's do this one, and we're going to put it right in our audio just to make sure. And sure enough, there it is. So pretty cool, huh? All right, so that's audio in a nutshell. And by the way, there's a ton more things in this audio in the sound effects. It's not all sound effects. Like I said, there's all kinds of things in there to explore that are there for your use. Okay,